Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Let's Get Real. You're listening to Brenda
and Ashley, and today we have a brand new episode for you guys. But before we get into it, I wanted to make sure to let you guys know to give us a 5-star review and rating on the Apple Podcast app because it really helps us out.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. Our Instagram account is Let's Get Real the Podcast. Our Twitter account is Let's Get Real Pod.
And our YouTube channel is Let's Get Real Podcast. You can search that up. Make sure to subscribe. You can comment on all the videos there and show us some love.
So for today, we're going to be talking a lot of gender roles in relationships, whether or not the men should be the provider, who should be paying for the first date, when you feel is the right time to move out with your significant other, what are rules to be moving out, or what are little signs to tell you whether or not you should be thinking about that. So we'll get straight into it. Our first question will be for Ashley. What do you think? Who should pay for the first date?
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on this. So I think that if a man is asking you out on a date and he says, hey, will you go on a date with me? Hey, can I take you out? Hey, let's go to dinner. I think it's his responsibility to take on the bill without you even having to feel like, oh, should I take my wallet out? Oh, should I pretend to pay? I think it's his job because he asked you out. If you were the one that suggested it as a female, we're talking male-female relationship. But if you're the one that asked him out, I think that it's kind of up in the air. But I think the man should always pay on a first date. Even if the woman's like, oh, I'll take care of it. I think he should take charge and be like, no, I got this. So yeah, I definitely think it's the man's job. It depends sometimes, but overall, yeah. What do you think?
Personally, I get where you're coming from. I feel like as a man, you should be offering or suggesting to pay for the bill. However, I feel like had this been flipped around, if I were the guy, I would think like, okay, we're not even comfortable yet, and you're assuming that I'm going to pay for the bill. What makes me think that, when we get serious.
But if you asked her out, why is, what?
Well, I mean, yeah, but, that's the thing too. Like, if you're going out on a coffee date, like you're going to a Starbucks, you're going to Tim Hortons.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a $10 drink for you and her, for you and him. Fine, whatever, pay for the bill. But if you're going to like a movie, dinner, then gonna go to a Starbucks drive-thru, and I don't know, you have like a whole day planned.
Yeah, like 3 dates in one night.
And on top of that, if he's coming to pick you up and going to drop you off, it's like he's paying for all this stuff. Like, I feel like you should at least have the, the courtesy to say, hey, listen, you picked me up. Let me grab this Starbucks for us. Like, I appreciate you picking me up. Let me pitch in too.
I agree with that. I think that you kind of got to help out in a little bit, just show like, okay, I'm appreciative, I'm not using you. But let's say you just go to dinner. Like, that's it. He asks you, hey, Brenda, like, can you come to dinner with me?
I think I'd still offer like, oh no, let me pay for my plate. But I mean, as a guy, you should be like, no, it's cool. But I'm still gonna, offer that. Exactly.
I think it depends. So like, there's a few different examples. If it's online dating and this is the first time you've met, I don't think you have to pay the bill if you're not interested. So let's say like you're a man, right? And you go on a date and halfway through the date you realize I'm not interested. I don't think you need to pay the bill because you're not interested. You don't need to impress her. What's the point in paying an extra $40 out of your own pocket for someone that at that very moment you're never going to see again? Yeah, you might seem like an asshole, you might seem cheap, but I think in that situation, the man doesn't have to pay because if he knows he's not interested, why should he spend his hard-earned money on you just to be a gentleman? I don't know. I know that sounds weird, but...
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Because, like, if you're interested in the girl on that Tinder date or whatever it is, and you're, like, halfway through, you're like, okay, I'm fucking with her vibe, I like her, then you're going to want to pay and be a gentleman and, like, show her that, like, yeah, I can take care of you in a way. But, like, if you're not interested, what's the point? You're never going to see her.
Yeah, that's true. There's no way of judgment because, I mean...
She's never going to see you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I see it that way.
So what if you're the female? How do you feel if a man doesn't even offer and you have to be the one to be like, let's split the bill, and he just says nothing? And do you care?
What do you mean?
Okay, so you're on a date and the check comes and you're kind of waiting for him to offer and he doesn't.
But you notice that before you're about to pay for the bill, they usually do ask, like, separate or together.
Okay, what if the man doesn't answer? Are you going to answer for him or are you going to just wait for him to say separate?
I feel like if he doesn't answer, it's a known fact that it's a separate bill. Because if he wanted to pay for you, he would have said, no, it's together.
What do you do? Do you say it or do you wait for him to say it?
you wait for him to say it.
Okay, good. Because, like, I remember I was in this position one time and it was just silent. I think he was waiting for me to be like, separate. And I was like, no. If you wanted to be separated, you're going to be a man. You're going to say separate. Like, I'm going to let you sit here and say separate.
It's actually funny because I've mentioned this with my boyfriend that every time we go out, they always ask, like, is it separate or is it together? Mm-hmm. And they see him pulling out his wallet, but they make the eye contact with me.
Oh, because they're like... Oh, I don't know.
For like, I don't know if it's like for reassurance or
like I'm not trying to answer as a female.
Right?
Like the man can answer that. He's a man. Like if he doesn't want to pay, then he needs to say for himself.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, that's weird.
I feel like if the waitress comes and says, is it going to be separate or together? And the man doesn't answer, it's a known fact that it's going to be separate. You just say, yeah, it's separate.
I saw this tweet by a girl talking about how she lets her man feel like a man by giving him her money to pay her half. So he gets to appear as like, oh, I'm paying the bill, but really she's giving him the money for her. So let's say the bill's $60, mm-hmm. She'll slide him a 30 and he'll just like look like he paid for everything so that she can feed his ego in a way. What do you think of that?
I don't think that's bad. It depends too, because I mean, the older you get, like if this is a person that like you're committed to, you essentially, I don't know, most people I guess would like have some type of joint account.
I'm talking so just like dating though. Like dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, but not yet like 5 years in. Still dating.
So recent? I don't know. I think that's fine because I feel like I've done that too, where if we're having a long weekend together, like I'll put it all on his card and then we'll split it after or something.
But do you do it to feed his ego or for convenience?
For convenience.
I'm talking about to feed his ego. In this situation, I feel like it's okay to pay him back later if it's just convenient to pay all at once. And like, you're paying him back, like, that's okay. But I just feel as though if it's for his ego, like he wants to just look like he's paying so he can feel nice and feel better about it, I think there's a problem. Like if you can't afford it, that's okay, but own it. And if you want your ego to be fed, work harder. Yeah. And make it work.
I mean, if you're doing it just for appearance and ego, then yeah,
I think that's weird.
Whack.
Yeah.
There's times where you go out as a group and it's like, okay, let me just put it all on my tab and then we'll just split it equally after. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like what we do, because usually when we go out, we do more than one thing. Like we'll go grab a Starbucks, then we'll grab dinner, then we'll grab this. Yeah. So I'll put it, like he'll be like, I'll put it on my tab. And then obviously if it's like $100 night out, I feel bad because
no, that's normal. I did that too in my relationship.
I'll split it. Like I'll be like, okay, I'll send you a 50. Times are rough. Like even though you don't, people act like nah, it's good. Like it's just $5. Like
it adds up.
It adds up in the long run.
Even if you're a man, it still adds up.
I feel like it's kind of throwing shade. Like I wouldn't want someone to expect that I'm always paying for stuff. Yeah. So I wouldn't expect someone to pay for all my stuff. So I always, no matter what, I'm always the type of person that I'll offer. Like here, take my 20. Here, take a 5. Here, take a 15.
I agree with that. I think it's okay. Like I was definitely in the same situation sometimes where I would conveniently have it just like put on my ex's card and I would pay him back, which is normal because if I want to buy something and I don't, because I always forget my card, then I would just make sure to pay him back, right? Yeah. And I think that's fine. But I think when it comes to like ego, because the man wants to seem like a man, if that's so important to you, then you'll go make more money and do that for yourself, because that has nothing to do with me. And you wanting to take care of me, that has to do with I want to look like I'm.
Or like if you're gonna do that, don't expect the woman to pay you back, because if you're putting it on your tab, it's because you're putting it on your tab. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, whether or not she wants to give it back to you, like it's different. You can tell when it's an ego thing.
Yeah, it's rooted in insecurity.
It's like an actual genuine thing that someone's doing.
I agree. So out of curiosity, what do you do when the check comes? When you're dating. I'm not talking about you and your boyfriend. No, not you and your boyfriend. I'm talking about when you were dating and you were going on first dates or second dates. What did you do when the check comes?
Offer to pay half, or I offer to pay for my plate or my food, or oh, how much is it? Like, I'll send you some money, or let me put in some too. Mm-hmm. I think I've always been the type to at least offer or suggest. Yeah. I know sometimes guys will be like, no, it's cool. So I'll even do it a second time. Mm-hmm. Like, are you sure? Like, I can, or sometimes what I'll do too, if they're very like sure that they don't want me to pay, then I'll be like, okay, let me grab us like coffee or something on our way home, or I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But like, I feel, because again, like had I been the opposite and I'm the guy paying for a girl all the time, I just feel like, if you're expecting me to pay at this point all these things for you, it's like later on when you get comfortable, it's just easier, right?
Yeah.
Like it gets easier to ask and
like
easier to feel comfortable
for the relationship.
for you to tell the other person how you feel and what you want, right? In the beginning, you're always like shy and, oh, should I say it? Do I want it? The more you get comfortable with someone, the more easier it is to ask for things or expect things from another person.
I agree. I personally when I dated a lot before, I never offered. I just felt like you asked me out, you asked me to come with you, I'm gifting you with my presence, so I expect you to take care of it, and if you don't want to or if you can't, that's okay, but say so and I will take my wallet out. I know that sounds bad, but like if you ask me out, I just feel like you want me to come out with you. You want me there specifically. So I would usually just sit there and I would like flip my hair, just kind of sit there and look pretty and just like smile. Like I didn't really like do anything about it. And if he would ever want the bill to be split, the guy would say something, but I actually don't think he's ever, like, I don't think any guy that I went on dates with back then ever said anything.
I'm just telling you now, if they didn't say anything and they wanted to, they said it when you were gone, because that's my thing. Like,
what do you mean they said it when I was gone?
Like, if he dropped you off, he's like, bro, like, I literally paid $60 for this freaking meal. And
well, I would always get a second date and they do it again.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Then. So, I mean, I was doing something right. But I went on a date. I was out before the guy got there because I was just, like, hanging out alone, right? Mm-hmm. I got a drink, and then he showed up. We got more drinks. Like, not many, like 2. And when the bill came, I offered to pay for my drink before he had come. I said, oh, I can take care of the one that I got before you were here. I didn't mention anything about the ones we got together, but I did mention that one. He still took care of it. He bought all of them, but that was the first time I'd ever offered.
The thing, too, is I find men are not the type to suggest that they're going to pay for it. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, I'm paying for your dinner, or don't worry, I got this. Like,
yeah.
It'll
be up in the air until the bill comes.
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, no man wants to really say, let's separate it.
Exactly.
So they're just going to go broke trying to feed their ego. So that they don't have to say. But, like, to me, if it's important to you and if you're struggling, you'll say something.
I don't think they'll say something. I think they'll still struggle.
I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole. I just feel like if you ask me on a date, then be prepared to take me on a date. When it comes to
money, it's a very touchy topic.
I just feel as though you should not be asking females on dates if you don't have the money. Like, we don't have to go on dates for you to go broke, right? But if you are asking me, then be prepared for it, right? Because I'm so traditional. Like, my parents are, like, you know how my parents are. My dad opens the car door for my mom when we go out to dinner.
Yeah.
They're very traditional, and I've just seen it growing up.
My thing, too, though, when this goes back to, like, gender roles and stuff, if that's how you think traditionally, then when men think certain ways, like, oh, a woman should be at home cooking my dinner.
Yeah, I think that's true. I should be at home cooking dinner. I should be. I
think it's all about who's getting home first. Like, if you get home before me, best believe you're going to cook dinner, because then you're waiting on dinner just because I come in later.
Okay, so wait, this can bring us to our next topic, because I got a lot to say about this whole thing. Wow, we really look at it differently, huh? So, should the man be the provider? Can I answer this first?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think the man should be a provider, because I think that the woman should take care of all the household duties. I think the woman should be cleaning. I think the woman should be cooking. I think the woman should be holding shit down, organizing things. I think the woman should be taking care of most of the kids' activities and things like that. The woman should be really keeping everything together. The woman holds the house down. The woman is the house. She's the one that holds shit down. I think the man should be the provider, because that's the thing that the woman should not stress about. She should not be going and working her ass off for 100 hours a week to come home and do all of these duties, clean the house, do this, do that, do that. I think the man should take care of the finances and providing for the woman, making sure that she's good and she doesn't have to worry about money. Yes, she should make her own money. I think she should buy her own things, have a side hustle, have a part-time job, whatever, right? But I think the whole point of the man being the provider is so that the woman is able to take on the duties without being fucking stressed and wanting to kill herself. I think the woman should be the one that does all of those chores. That's how I was in my relationship. Like, I would never ask for help with any cleaning, cooking,
like, don't
nothing.
get me wrong, there's certain things that I feel like for example, if you're a stronger cook than your significant other, then yeah, maybe it's a your chore type of
but
thing.
that's nothing to do with men and women.
Well, because it has nothing to do
I'm
with
gonna
genders.
piss people off.
It has nothing to do with genders. It has to do with what your qualities are. If I'm a good person at cooking, I should be the cooker.
But if the man's a good cook,
then he should be cooking.
yeah, if the man's a good cook and he wants to take care of the meals,
I
fine,
have a
but
friend
I'll do more.
Who's like that too. She doesn't cook at all. Her man cooks.
She needs to learn how to cook for her man then.
Well, but then she does the cleaning.
I think it's
because
embarrassing.
He doesn't like cleaning.
I think that's embarrassing. If I can't cook for my man, another woman's gonna cook for my man. I'm not gonna put my man in that position.
Well, this goes back to like equality and like why women should be making equal pay as men, because there's things like that where it's like, well, why can't a woman do this? Why can't a woman be a construction worker?
She can, but like she can also like cook for her man.
I don't know. I'm the total opposite. Like, I get where a man should be a provider in the sense where men know that they're the protector.
They're the protector.
So for certain things, like, yes, they should be providing. Like, for example, if the light needs to be changed at the house, I would expect him to be like, oh, let me change it after dinner. Mm-hmm. But if I'm home alone, he's at work, and I'm not going to be staying in the dark just to wait for him to change a light bulb. I'll go and do it.
You should know how to do it. But, like, why should you when you have a man?
Agreed, but I don't think it should be expected of the men to do it.
Oh my God, yes it should. If I have a flat tire, I'm not gonna go out of my way to go get that shit fixed. Do I know how to do it? Yes, I know how to do it, but why would I do it?
What if he didn't know how to do it, but you did?
Well, then I'm with the wrong man. Why am I with a man that doesn't know how to change a tire or fucking pump a tire?
All right. I don't know. I'm all about equality and things being equal. Like, again, I'm not saying that a man shouldn't be a provider. I think in terms of, like, emotionally there and for certain things, again, like changing a light bulb or, like, I don't know.
Taking out the trash,
things like that. Like, yes, I guess have that expectation. But when it comes to certain things like paying for the bill or another thing, like when you're living together, like who pays the rent?
Ooh, can I answer this? So I think when you're in a relationship, you're just like dating, I think it should be 50-50. Okay. Once you have children and you're married, that's when a lot of responsibilities change. I think the man should take care of it for the most part, or at least take care of all of it. And the woman pays for groceries. She pays for her own leisure activities. She pays for her nails. She pays for little things like home decor, things like that. What do you think?
See, again, when you guys are dating and it's in the beginning, like, it's different. But when you guys are together and you're living together, I think there should be, like, a joint account in that sense where it's, when there's certain things that are both yours, like rent or mortgage or hydro, things like that, like, you're both using, I think it should be split and not 50-50. So what I'm saying is, like, let's say the bill comes up to $2,000.
Yeah.
You're putting in $1,000 and I'm putting in $1,000. I don't think that's equally because, for example, what if my income biweekly is $1,500 and his income biweekly is $3,000? So, you know.
Then you need a new man.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, again, my half of my, let's say I made $2,000 biweekly and he makes $4,000 biweekly.
Yeah.
Half of my paycheck is $1,000. Half of his paycheck is $2,000. It's double my amount.
I think that's fair.
I think you should put a percentage of your income. So maybe 50% of his income should go towards a joint account. 50% of my income should go towards a joint account.
And then you pay it from there.
Exactly.
I think that's totally fair. I 100% agree with that.
And it's better that way because I feel like you guys are grinding together, you guys are shining together. When it comes to later on, like, let's say things do get messy, something happens, at least you know you put in equal amount of efforts. Because the thing is, too, once you think that the man is the provider, I find that this is another reason why people are always scared to leave their significant other. Because they're providing for them. They're like their financial holder. So they don't see life without them because it's like, oh, I don't want to leave him because how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to do this?
I think that's if you're stupid. Like, that's if you're stupid. For me, I'm a hustler. So no matter what, I'm always going to be good on my own. Like, I live on my own right now.
But then you're going to be so comfortable with him paying all these things that when it's time for you to pay for these things, you're going to be like,
Nah. Like, I'm too independent for that. I'll always know in the back of my mind that something can happen. I'm way too cautious and independent that I will always be good. And yes, I'll be really comfortable and I'll be chilling. But I'll always know that there's a chance that I'd have to walk away at any given second, and I'm okay. So I'll never have a man have that power over me. There's no way in hell I would let a man have that power over me. Like, yes, he could make more money than me, but honestly, I just because of the way that I am, I always know that we'll probably be on the same page, or I don't know. Like, I would never have someone have the power over me. I wouldn't allow that. There's no way.
Well, that's good, but I feel like a lot of people
would.
Yeah, because a lot of times when I ask people, like, okay, well, if this person's treating you like shit and you don't want to be with this person, why are you still with them?
It's because they can't afford rent on their own.
No, like 50% of the reasons is because they can't financially see themselves without that extra income.
That's sad. And that really scares me to think that people are stuck like that, because there's always a way out. There's always a side hustle. There's always another job that you can figure out, but it's just so hard to want to do that when you're so comfortable and used to someone.
Exactly. That's the word, comfortable.
Yeah, when you're comfortable, it becomes too easy to become accustomed to all of it. But when you think about it from an outsider perspective, you're like, what am I really doing? And it's scary.
But I think on terms of the whole rent thing, touching back on that topic, in a sense, I can see where you're coming from, though, because I do find that a lot of people who, they move in together, they have their own place. I do find that women tend to be more of, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, they tend to buy things more like household stuff, like furniture, decor.
They make the house a home.
Towels. Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like, I find that women do spend just as much as men do, because men will, like, okay, let's say he pays for the rent, he pays for the car insurance, he pays for the hydro. Those are things that come in like, monthly. But things that she pays, she might be paying it like
little towels, paper towel, toilet paper,
and it might be something
soap.
that she's paying every single day for a full week. So if you add all the stuff that she ends up putting into the house or whatever, it ends up being probably just as much as what.
I don't think so. No, because I know
groceries nowadays is expensive. I find that women or mothers, they tend to do the grocery shopping, even when it comes to clothes. When you're buying clothes for yourself, for your kids, or for your significant other,
that's what I'm saying.
They like buy the clothes. I've had so many people who are like married tell me, like, they to this day buy certain things for their like husbands, like shirts, pants, underwears. Like, those are things that guys won't buy themselves, I guess, for some weird reason.
I know, it's so weird.
But they'll be the ones to buy it for them.
And I think that's fine. I think you're supposed to take care of your man, because your man's supposed to take care of you in other ways. I think that, honestly, I'm so traditional with it. The woman is the nurturer. She's the one that makes the house a home. She's the one that cleans and cooks. And I know it sounds so bad, and I know the feminists are going to attack me.
Don't worry, I'm with you guys.
Yeah, like, you know what? I do want to say, can you guys please DM us on Instagram, Let's Get Real, the podcast, and let us know what you think about this topic. Do you agree with me, Ashley, in case you're forgetting who I am, or Brenda?
Or me.
Because I honestly want to know, am I an asshole? Am I just looking at this in like such a, what's the word?
I think I'm just more so into all about equality. Like, I'm very like, a woman should be able to do just as much or as equally as a man.
I think so too. And all about this
whole empowerment and like women power and stuff. Like, there's no way that you can, be like a woman empowerment and have like all this stuff towards women if you're not gonna practice it.
But I think so too. I think you should know how to change a tire, and you should know how to check your oil and all that shit. I think you should know these things, but I don't think you need to do these because you have a man.
Know these things too. Like, you can just YouTube and like Google.
Yeah, but I think that you should know how to do all these things, and you should be okay. You should be able to look at your relationship and be like, if I was on my own, I'd be fine, but I'm not on my own, and I have this person, so he's gonna take care of this, and I'm going to allow him because he's a man and it's his job.
In terms of protector. In terms of the men being the protector, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. Like, you want your significant other to make you feel safe. Or, like, when you're home with that person and like, the door's wide open, the windows is wide open, but you feel safe because you feel secured with another,
I think that's important. It's really hard to know when that person is going to be right for you. Like, are they going to be able to protect you, take care of you, make you feel safe? So it always makes me think of, like, how do you know when the right time is to move out with someone? What are like what's the green light to make you realize, okay, this is the person I want to live with, this is okay?
Okay, this is a good topic because I feel like my time is coming. But I feel like there's certain signs. These are signs from like when you start dating, little things that you start to see. Like, first of all, one thing is like, are you guys financially stable to be out? Of course. If they're not, then even though you are, you shouldn't be. Because it's just not going to work out. Because then again, these things are going to come up like, oh, are you paying for this? Are you paying for that? I feel like a big sign for you to know whether or not that, like, it's time for you to move out with that person is if you genuinely feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And you're financially stable with each other. You guys have, like, a good cushion to work with. And again, like, there's genuine feelings between that person. Like, you've talked about future plans. You've talked about, okay, what you're looking for. Because maybe you're looking for a house and I'm looking for a condo and we just have two different thoughts of what we want.
True.
Maybe you're thinking of buying, I'm thinking of renting, you know? Those are signs that make you know whether or not that person is the one that you should be moving out with.
Okay, so do you feel like you need to go on, like, a long vacation first, or you need to spend a lot of time at their house, or vice versa first? Or do you think it's something that you can just kind of jump into?
No, you cannot jump into that.
Right, yeah.
For sure, you've had a couple of vacations, maybe, you know, sleepovers, hangouts, where you kind of see their inner life. Yeah, their habits, how they, like, sleep, how
do they leave, like, their socks on the floor?
Yeah, are they organized? Things like that, because there's little things that maybe you won't think will bother you or won't be a pet peeve, but then you'll be like, oh, he always leaves the toilet seat up, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that, but I think that when you're kind of assessing that, you also have to realize, okay, what is something that I can look past or that I can fix? Like, something like socks on the floor could be annoying as fuck, but it really is just, you just pick them up, you know, as much as it pisses you off, stuff like that. But if you realize...
So much for being traditional, where you said, I'm so traditional, you shouldn't be moving out with your man unless you're married with them.
I never said I was Catholic and traditional. I said I was traditional in terms of gender roles.
Okay, well...
So annoying. Anyways, so... For example, there's little things. Like, if he's just a filthy person and you know that shit's not going to change and you can't clean around him, then I think that's something you're like, oh, shit, like, how do I go about this, you know? Or if he has, like, he drinks a lot and he gets angry, you know, certain things that you're just like, okay, now that I'm seeing this, I can't move out. But if it's small things, I think it's like, you know, he doesn't put the cushions back on the couch properly. You can just work around that.
Yeah, agreed.
But you have
because
to
again,
assess
there's
it.
certain things that we think won't bother us, but with more time and, like, being surrounded by it, like,
it will.
Multiple amounts, it's like, oh, this is really starting to piss me off.
Yeah, like, there's small things, but you can definitely figure those out just by staying at their house really often or them staying at your house. But I think staying at their place really often is important because you're in their element and that's their space and they treat it the way they want to, right? When they're in your space, it's going to be completely different. So I think that's huge. So speaking of their space and your space, if you're moving out, obviously sometimes you're moving in with the person or sometimes you're finding a place together. So whether you're renting or buying, right, eventually comes to a point where you're married, you're buying a property, you're buying belongings for the home together. Do you think a prenup is important?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, it depends on the relationship, but to be quite honest with you, if there's a prenup, I feel like there's some type of trust issues.
I agree.
And maybe you shouldn't be moving in with that person. Because at the end of the day, if you're literally, you know, respect the person, regardless of how things ended, I feel like even if, like, let's just say you got cheated on.
Yeah.
I think the person who knows they did you dirty would have the audacity to be like, listen, okay, we're going to split up. I know you got this and you bought this and here you can take this.
Yeah, like I know someone whose dad cheated on her mom. I hope she doesn't listen to this, but to this day, the mom is still living in the house with the kids and the dad just knew, okay, I need to leave because I cheated on you. So she has the home. She moved her new man into the home and she's still there.
If you're getting a prenup, I feel like there is some type of...
like a lack of trust.
Like a lack of trust, a lack of disrespect. Because it's kind of like, I brought this in. And... because at the end of the day, regardless of what you bring in, you're building a future together. So your thoughts automatically is, yeah, maybe I bought a $15,000 car.
But what's
that now
mine
she's
is
gonna,
yours.
Exactly. That's how it should be. Once you start living together, it's like whatever is yours is mine, whatever is mine is yours type of thing. Like, you know, ruined the car, that's something we're going to fix together type of thing. But prenups, I find, are very common in, like, artists, like rappers.
Yeah, I was going to say it really depends. For example, for me, I know I'm going to do great things. I know I'm going to be big. I know I'm going to make a lot of money. And here's the thing. If I end up with someone who is not doing anything and, you know, is working a regular job, like, that's okay. But I might protect myself with a prenup just because I do love you and I do have all this trust. But it depends on the person. I guess I can't really say that because if I'm marrying you, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
So
And
I
at the end of
do
the
wanna
day,
say
if they
that.
are doing worse than you, then you know you're going to have to pick up more.
Exactly.
And that's something you're going to have to
That's
accept.
something I'm preparing myself for. So it's really tough because I wouldn't want to be with someone that I doubt even in the slightest way. So I don't think I would have a prenup.
I wouldn't. 100%.
I don't think so, but I know I would think about it, and my dad would probably try and get me to get one because it's one of those things where if you're a millionaire and your partner makes $20,000 a year, then you got to kind of look at it and think, okay, if I'm putting all this, God forbid,
but I just
something
feel like
could
that
happen.
person, if they respect you enough, they will know, okay, like she clearly, I moved into her place.
Yeah.
I'm driving her car.
Yeah.
I'm, whatever. It's like, you're using this person's stuff. So at the end of the day, you didn't put that in. You didn't come with it. So why am I walking out with it?
It's true.
It's
think
different
that,
when you build something together.
Yeah.
And you're going to go 50-50 on it. For example, you move in together, you guys buy a bed, and you guys split that.
Yeah.
Then sell it and split the profit 50-50, or get someone to buy it out from you. So, like, let's say, you're moving out, you guys split up, and the guy and you paid 50-50 for the bed. He doesn't want it. He's like, okay, well, pay me my 50% of what I paid.
I
Fine.
think there'll be a mutual understanding, and if the person, again, if they respect you. For me personally, when I get married, I do truly believe that I'll end up with someone that's on my level. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, I'll see potential in them. So I will invest in them and make sure that they get to my level. I'm not going to spoil you with gifts and this and that. I'm going to invest in a business idea or whatever you have if I have the means to do so. So in that case, there will be no prenup necessary because I want to see you be as great as me. I want us to be great together, right? So there'll be no prenup because we're going to be on each other's level. So neither of us are going to need to take from each other. So I don't think I'll get a prenup, but I 100% understand why people do it. But I also think it's rooted in a lack of trust.
I can see why artists do it.
If I was famous and popping and like Mariah Carey, I'm getting a prenup. I don't give a fuck if I'm in love with you and I believe in you.
No, but it's different. Okay. Hold up. So if you're together before the fame,
like Nazneen and Miguel.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Like you guys, were together before all this fame came in, and then you become famous and he's still not really that famous. It's different because he's been there for you from time, but it's different when you're already like established
and then you meet a commoner, a peasant.
Exactly. That's different because then you're thinking like, is this person really here for me, or are they here for me because of the clout or whatever?
Exactly. Like I think Miguel and Nazneen, if Miguel was like, I want a prenup, I think that's a slap in the face because she's been down for him for over 9 years.
Same
and
with
I think that's
Steph
fucked
Curry
up. Exactly. I think it's a slap in the face. But if Steph Curry and Thing divorced and he meets a new girl and they're in love, get a prenup.
Yeah.
Get a prenup. There's Selena Powell's out there. There's all these people that are just Lori Harvey. Well, she's got money. But, there's people that are just clout chasers and money chasers. So I think in that case it's okay and you shouldn't be offended. But there are situations in which it should not be necessary at all.
Agreed. For the most part, especially if we're talking about ourselves, though, I would probably not get a prenup. But
Same.
It's different. Like, again, I do understand why certain people do it or, why they think about doing it.
Yeah, but knowing who I am, I don't think I have it in me to tell my partner that I claim to love, hey, like, I want to protect myself. I don't.
Yeah.
Then I don't trust you. And I just think that that's a slap in the face. And it would break my heart to even have to say that because I think it puts too much on the table of like, wait, if this is how you look at me, why are we getting married?
Exactly.
So I don't think I could ever do it. If I ever felt the need to do it, I think that it's not the right person for me. Before, I wouldn't have said this, which is funny. Like a year or two ago, I would have been like, fuck that shit, I'm getting a prenup. But now I'm like, I look at things really differently. So I just think it's just money. It's just money. Like if they want to run with it, karma will get them and God will bless me. I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about prenups, what are your thoughts about if your significant other is going through a rough time and would you pick up certain payments like rent or like hydro, like you guys go 50-50 and he's going through a rough patch right now, so you don't really want to bring it up like, hey, rent is due.
Oh my God.
What do you do?
Okay, so it depends on if we're boyfriend and girlfriend and just dating and just moved in, or if we are like on the road to marriage and children. If we're boyfriend and girlfriend, I will take care of it, but I won't do it on a regular basis. If it's a pattern, there's a problem. That's a huge problem. But that will be something that I will kind of take into account, and I will expect you to take care of the next month or, you know, pay me back in some way, even if it's slow payments. But if we are at this point a union, on our way to marriage, we are living together, we're going to have kids and stuff like that, at that point, our lives are, you know, connected, our lives are together. I'll take care of it because I know there's going to be a day that maybe I'll be struggling and I'll need you to have my back. And I won't be like, you need to pay me back. I'll be like, it's okay. I got it. As long as I got it, which I will. So it depends.
It's interesting you think that way, because a lot of people would say, like, when you're married and when you have kids. But honestly, like, I feel the moment you guys live together, whether you're paying rent or whether you're, you know, paying your mortgage because you bought a place, I think the kids and the whole married shouldn't be a factor of why your choice changes. I feel like if they're truly struggling, like, let's say they had someone pass away and, like, you don't want to, you know, mention rent is due, I will cover it, but I don't think I would ask for it either. I just expect them at the point of when they're ready to, like, talk about it, or
they'll bring it up.
They'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll just be like, okay, I know you paid for the rent last week, like, I'll cover this one. If it's little things, like, you know, he's mourning, you know, he just lost somebody very special to him, and he's, like, mourning for, like, a week, and, like, you know, he doesn't want to cook.
Little thing. Oh, okay, that's
he doesn't know. He doesn't want to cook, or he doesn't want to go grocery shopping, so I have to, you know, pick up and do those things. I'll do it because it's like, what, a couple hundred?
Yeah.
But it's different when it's like rent or like mortgage. Like, I'd still do it, but I would hope that the person, because at the end of the day, like, I get it, be there for your significant other, but it's also, like, basically saying that if you're going through something, you're putting all your responsibilities aside, and I don't think you should think that way, because at the end of the day, like, the world keeps turning, like, you still have to eat, you still have to, like, live, and unfortunately that comes with life, right? Bills to be paying and things like that. So it's great that the person does, you know, come and, you know, have your back in that sense, but I do feel like as a grown person, when you're ready, you should talk about, hey, like, you paid for rent, like, let me send you some money.
I shouldn't have to come to you and ask you about it. Like, that should be your job to be open and honest about it.
At the end of the day, too, it's like everyone has a story. Everyone's going through something. We all have, like, shitty moments, things that are, you can't let life stop you from your responsibilities and your duties. It's kind of like, oh, like, you know, I just lost my mom and I have a 2-month-old child. I'm not going to feed them. I'm not going to change them. Like, they're just going to have to survive on their own.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like last week, like, I was going through it, but somehow the fucking podcast still ended up online. Somehow my YouTube videos ended up on my channel, because I just knew, like, okay, I could neglect it, but right now it's like, it'll make me feel worse too. I also feel like when you're going through shit like that, when you're neglecting all your responsibilities, that's going to kind of add to your pain too.
Exactly.
So you don't want to keep just sinking lower and lower and lower, and your partner has to just, you know,
keep picking you up.
Exactly. I don't think that's fair. I think that there's going to be times that, like, if you can't, then your partner should have your back, and you should know that. But it should never be a regular thing. And I think that it just kind of comes to a point where you have to decide, like, is this, like, am I able to do this? The reason why I think this is important to think about is because I know so many people that move in after barely knowing each other. Because, for example, like, I had a friend who, she was living on her own and her man was living on her own, and in, like, 2 months they both were spending so much time together that they just moved in together. And I think if it's a situation like that, you barely have been dating, you've been knowing each other for 2 months, I don't think you should be taking anything on, because you don't know where this relationship is going to go.
Agreed.
But if you're 4 years in, I think at that point it's like, I know you have me, so I will take care of it. So it really depends. It really does.
There's definitely a timeline, I feel like, when you know, you're ready to move out. I know a lot of people nowadays, they move really quick.
I know.
Like, you date a person, you introduce them to your family,
and you're moved out.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy.
It's very crazy.
It works for some people, but I think it is crazy, and it's something I could never do. I would need to travel with you. That. I need to see your space. I need you to, like, I need to have so much more. I don't even think a year is enough time for me to move in together, unless we've known each other for years, we've dated for a while, or, you know what I mean? If we've been friends.
The thing too is, honestly, I do understand, because people always say, like, it's never the amount of time you know someone, it's the connection you have with that person that you know. And I kind of understand, like, again, a year, 2 years, I think that's too short of a time because you're still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
But like after 2 years, I think it's fine. Like
I think
2,
so
3,
too.
Like if you take 8 years to move in together, no judgment. If you take 3 years to move in together, no judgment.
Yeah.
I think after 2 years is a good time to think about it.
I think so too. I think if you're friends and you've known each other for like 8 years and then you start dating for like a year or two, like even a year, I think it's okay to move in quickly because you know each other inside and out by that point. But if you met through a friend and you started dating in a year, I think it's very soon because you literally got to know that person a year ago.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's tough, but it's all at your own discretion. It's so subjective. If you've known your man for 4 years, if you've known your girlfriend for 2 months and you live together, it can work. I know a couple that moved in together after 3 months of knowing each other. 3 months of knowing, they still live together to this day. They actually have a property together. They live in their best lives. They travel. They're happy. They're thriving.
Yeah, for some people, definitely it works.
Yeah, it can work for sure.
But I don't think it's for everyone.
Yeah.
It really depends. It depends the connection you have. Because some people, like, they instantly click. Like, you know, they meet and they're just like, this is the person that I can see, you know, spending the rest of my life with. But there's some people where you're still, like, iffy, like, is this gonna last? Like, what are his, you know, habits?
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you feel that way, it doesn't mean this person's not right for you because you don't have that click or chemistry. Like, there's nothing wrong with being cautious and all that. It just means you're being, you know, you're looking out for yourself. So in case you're listening, you think that, oh, why don't I feel that click? Like, it's not like that. It's also like, you know, sometimes you're just not sure and you need to make sure. I'm cautious as fuck.
Yeah, agreed. Because living in with someone is it's a huge life change.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of things change. You have to be more, you know, in tune with that person. Like, know their ins and outs.
You have to like their company better than your own company, because I love my own company. And now that I live alone, I realize I don't think I could have a roommate unless it's my life partner. And I have to really fuck with you. Like, I have to really love you to move in with me, to move in together.
I feel like we covered a lot today. We talked about gender roles, whether or not, you know, one person should move in with another person who's the provider. That's a lot of good topics.
Yeah.
If you guys have any comments or things that you feel like, no, like you shouldn't think that way.
Yeah, if you fucking hate what I had to say, let us know. I want to know.
Give us your feedback. Let us know what you think about these things, because I'm sure everyone has gone through something. What we talked about, whether the whole provider, first date, when you should move in with someone. Maybe someone has a story about,
yeah,
you know?
share your stories. We'll read it. We're going to start leaving some time at the end of the episodes to read your questions and comments and stuff like that, your stories, all of that. So make sure to send it in to us.
If you don't follow us on Instagram or Twitter, make sure to do that. So you can DM us on Instagram. Once again, our Instagram account is Let's Get Real the Podcast. Our Twitter account is Let's Get Real Pod. And feel free to DM us, submit questions, give us your feedback. Let us know what you thought about our thoughts and why we think the way we think.
We're going to share it on the episode. If you want to be anonymous, make sure to say so. Also, once again, 5-star review and rating helps us out so freaking much. It's going to bring us up on Apple Podcast app. So make sure to just do a 5-star review and let us know, like, hey, this podcast is amazing. Hey, this podcast is dope. Just put that in because it helps us.
Yes, please.
So that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. This was Ashley.
And Brenda.
And we're out. Bye.
Bye.